Welcome to the Land, your bet sports betting show for WNBA games here on Tuesday. So we've got the luxury of choice. Don't really need to force too many bets. Hopefully we'll get enough of these player props to go ahead and get a good amount of bets down here in this nice slate. I'm going to be taking you through the key data that you need to get your bets down, some of the matchups, a couple players that are questionable that we need to look at what happens when they're in and out. So hopefully this will all help you out. Give that video a like, and let's jump right into everything we've got for Tuesday night. Quick look at Sunday, the last day we bet on this stuff. Nice little 3.3 units, 5-1 on the day there. Fully focused on the W with the NBA obviously over now. Up 4.5 units here. Not really much to go through here other than Asia stuff is too high. Aaliyah Boston with Caitlin Clark is incredible right now. Arike might be back, especially from 3 in good matchups, so we hit that there. Gabby Williams finally going up in her PRA number because we've been slamming 21.5 every single game that we get. No longer getting that, but Natasha Cloud under 12.5 PR. Keep looking at that for her. All she's doing is diming, really not scoring very much at all, even without Sabrina out there. She went under the 12.5 PR in that game where they lost without Sabrina and Jonquel Jones. And then Jordan Canada seems to be losing her minutes. So this did not hit because she played like 20 minutes. Normally she'd be at about 25, 26. We lost a good amount of them because Pow Pow is incredible. If you don't know her name yet, look up Tahina Pow Pow. She has been awesome for the Dream, and she's probably going to keep getting more minutes. So I don't know if we can look at Jordan Canada quite as easily moving forward with the overs, but do want to let you know we still have the WNBA season pass. If you're interested in getting in, get yourself a little discount on the monthly price. Just pay up front, and then you get all the WNBA stuff here for the whole summer. Also should let you know that we have all the sports books that I am partnered with rolling underneath me here. You can see Novig is up there. We've got plenty of others in the description of the video. Got the links to all the books there. If you do sign up for one of those books, I'm giving out a free month in the VIP. Just sign up for one of those books using the code LYB and then send me that screenshot on either Twitter or Discord. I'll go ahead and get you a free month in the VIP. You can check it out, see if it's worth your time there with the benefits of the chat as well as the picks that I'm putting down. But let's go ahead and jump into this slate here for Tuesday in the W. First game we're looking at, the Dream are in Dallas, taking on the Wings. Dejanay Carrington currently questionable for the Wings there, and then Maddie Siegrist is going to be out probably for the season at this point for them. That's been known for a little bit, but just making sure you know she's not in. And then Tara McCown is also going to be out. She's playing in the Euros. And the key things I'm going to be looking at here for these props, especially on the Wings side of the ball, Atlanta's defense is the best in the league versus the spot up. Dead last, limiting points to the ball handler in the pick and roll. That's definitely going to come into play here in this game. So who's that going to impact here for Dallas? Obviously, we're going to be looking at Arike, Ogunbowale, and then Paige Buchers. They're going to be the most impacted by the way that this Dream team plays defense, which is really well, especially above the perimeter. But Jordan Canada still in that starting lineup, but like we mentioned, lost some minutes to Pow Pow last game. Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Bree Jones, Brittany Griner. We know how they're going to keep that starting lineup intact. And then on the other side, after we get through the guards, we've got Aziaha Jones, we've got Hines Allen, and Nalissa Smith most likely going to be matched up there with Griner in this one. As always, using Props Madness here as we jump into the player props for this game. If you do want to get in on Props Madness, the best tool around for the W especially, use code LYB. That'll get you 25% off on your first month. Also gets you 7 days to trial it out, see if you like it. But I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here. Definitely using Props Madness to differentiate between Buchers and Ogunbowale here. But really, this what it comes down to is this Dream defense is absolutely awesome up top. Second best limiting above the break stuff. We know they're going to be ball hawking with Jordan Canada, Ryan Howard, and Alicia Gray. Really control the perimeter, all three of those players. But they are much, much better against the spot up as they do not double team very often. They allow their players to stay one-on-one on defense. They don't leave the shooters. So players who are in the pick and roll ball handling situation, they're a little bit more likely to score. That's Paige. She's on ball. Arike is off ball, right? So it's a lot more likely to me that Paige is going to be scoring in this one rather than assisting. I'd actually be looking towards the under, although it's pretty low for a reason, right? This 5.5 number kind of indicative of how good this Dream defense is at limiting assists, especially to like the guard position, right? They're going to be 4th best limiting guard assists, 3rd best limiting assists overall. And Paige has been awesome with the assists here. Let's be very clear. She's 10th in the league in assist percentage, and she's getting a ton of those to Arike on the spot up from 3. But I don't really trust that play in this game, and I don't really trust the Wings to do very well in this game either. So if I was going to go over, it would be an over for Paige points. I'd be leaving the assists alone, and this is not a good Arike matchup here in this one. The 3s, 1.5, so those are low. Everything's really low for her because of this tough matchup. I'm sure the books are aware of that, and they've injected that into the number. On the other side of the ball, the Dream are one of those teams, kind of like the Cavs, where they have two guards that are very, very good. Both dominate the usage with Gray, Ryan Howard, the equivalent of Darius Garland and Donnie Mitchell. And then the forwards / centers do the same thing too, right? Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the Cavs. Here we have Bree Jones, Brittany Griner on the Dream. So the way that the pattern that you really look for here is Alicia Gray has been off ball a lot more. She's scoring most of her points off the spot up and in transition and barreling to the basket with free throws, right? All very, very good matchups for her against this Dallas Wings team, who you can see, I shouldn't go away from it, dead last against a spot up, dead last against transition, second worst giving up free throw points, and that's the bulk of how she scores. So this is a great game for the Alicia Gray points. And if you actually go up here to advanced filters, you can look at how does a team play against her preferred play type, right? Opponent D rank versus her preferred play type on the season here. If we go to the bottom teams in the league against her, like say like the ninth to worst teams in the league, bottom 4 or 5 teams, she's at 21 a game, which by the way, she's at 20 a game. So this number is already kind of low for Alicia Gray on the points alone. And then if you look at Ryan Howard, it's kind of the opposite, right? Ryan Howard is scoring against these teams with transition for sure. It's not like I want to go under on Ryan Howard, but you look at the pick and roll ball handler stuff, right? That's how she's also scoring about 4 points per game, both off the transition, off pick and roll ball handler. But this defense for the Wings, similar to actually how the Dream play defense, they don't double team either, right? So they're a lot more likely to give up off the spot up rather than the pick and roll ball handler. So if you look at the games where Ryan Howard, teams that are really good off against the spot up shot here, or the pick and roll ball handling shot, if you look at them, the top teams in the league, top 4 or 5, she goes down to 14 points a game. So the pattern here is teams that don't double team are much better against Ryan Howard, essentially, rather than the stuff here for Alicia Gray. So we are going to see Alicia Gray probably in a better spot to score. That's where I'd be going for the points. But if you look at Bree Jones and Brittany Griner, both of them are going to be a stay away for me because of players like Canada and Pow Pow, who have come in and take those minutes big time. Like they're playing a lot more small ball, a lot less Jones and Griner on the floor at the same time. So if you look at like the first few games of the season, she's playing in the 30s for sure, right? Like if we look at the games where she's playing at least 30 minutes, they really mostly come, let me go over back to minutes. They mostly come in the beginning of the season. So you look at when she's playing 30 plus, first, everything's May, right? She's only got one game in June where she's played at least 30 minutes. All of these other games where she's playing high minutes are coming earlier in the season. Now, if you look at the games later in the season, right? Here 29, 22, 27, 23, 31 time in June, but that's it. Other than that, she's getting in the 20s because, again, they feel comfortable playing those small ball lineups with the way that players like Ryan Howard especially rebound really well. And Griner has seen her minutes just cut down a ton. They also like having Hillman come in and play the small ball 5 a lot. She's been really, really good as a really good rebounding forward. And again, that has cut big time into Brittany Griner's minutes. Earlier in the season, if you looked at her, she's playing 28, 31, 25, 30. Then she gets hurt in this game, comes back, and it's really like the ceiling at this point is about 25, 26 minutes, and she's just as likely to play anywhere from 18 to 20 at this point. So I can't really trust Griner and Jones, and I'm not getting Canada props, and I'm not getting Pow Pow props. So it's just going to end up being a stay away for me. Next game up, we've got the Lynx. They're playing in Washington. We don't know if Nafisa Collier is going to play. So they had Kliandikova start last game. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but I couldn't even find a correct pronunciation for her online. The internet doesn't recognize her last name, apparently. But she did play 27 minutes, played pretty well, started for Collier, like I said. So we'll see if Fiza is going to come back in this one. But we're not really going to get props for the Minnesota Lynx players until we know more about Collier's status. So I am going to look at a few things for the Mystics, including Shakira Austin, who in the last 2 in that starting lineup, I believe in the last 3 actually, and in the last 2 specifically, up to 31 minutes, 24.5 points per game, 8.5 boards per game for Austin. And she's in there now, man. As long as she's not hurt, she was coming back from injury, so she couldn't really get much above 20 minutes. Well, she's definitely coming back at this point. Looks really, really healthy and really good. I also want to show you what happens for some of these players if Nafisa is out for the Lynx here. So we're going to get into that in one sec, just so you know this is how we're starting now. And if Collier is out, like I said, we're going to get Kliandikova, who I'm messing it up on purpose. I don't know how to say it, but either way, this is going to be the lineups here. And we should mention Sonia Citron. I'm going to talk about her in a second. One of my favorite players in the league. was before her incredible outburst last game with all her career highs. But let's take a look at some of these players this season when they've played for the Lynx without Collier on court, right? She's only missed one game, but there's been plenty, or maybe it's two, but there's been plenty of, it is two. There's plenty of minutes now for her where she's off court and other players are on court. Not a ton, but enough to look at here, right? Like Courtney Williams. These are her per 30-minute numbers when she's playing without Napheesa Collier on the court with her. And she's at about 116 minutes total on the season, 15.6 points per 30, and then the usage rate's up at about 28% for her. So that goes way, way up. She's definitely on ball a ton anyway, but without Collier, who's really the secondary ball handler in the starting lineup, really not McBride's much more of the spot up player, as we know. So it's going to be a lot of Courtney Williams. Took the assist for her last game in that hit, but I think you're probably going to take everything for her if you want to play an over, because if Napheesa is out. Similar look for McBride. She goes up in the points. Still a really good on-ball shooter and off-ball. So she's going to be involved plenty. Probably going to see some Heidemann, McBride, and Courtney Williams minutes, and that's going to be good for points for Kayla McBride, because you're going to have two really good ball handlers out there. They're going to keep the ball moving and look for someone like Kayla. Plus, you can't really double down on her as easily. And if you look at her without Collier, good amount of minutes, 18 points per 30. You got to put her closer to 35, 36 minutes, especially without Napheesa. And the usage rate stays really, really high. Field goal attempts stay really, really high. And the last player, I mean, no surprise here. These are the three best players after Napheesa on the squad. But these are the only ones we're also going to get props for, probably when we do get props. So Alana, also not too much of a difference for her. She kind of stays in the same boat here in terms of the points per 30, usage rate, similar to what her averages are on the season, but she gets more minutes. We can feel comfortable with her having a nice floor of around 30 minutes, whereas there are some games where she's liable to play 20 to 25. If we don't have Napheesa, you can bank on the minutes for her, and that's the key here. Go ahead and give this video a like. Going to take a quick look at these Mystics props. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of this, but it goes a really long way to give that video a quick like. So hopefully you can help me out with that. But the players I would want to look at here, Sonia and Shakira. So Sonia Citrone, been talking about her, man, has not scored less than 10 points in her career to date. The rebounds, also really good. Last game had her best game of the season with 11 of them, but she's averaging 5, and we're still getting 3.5 for her. The Lynx are good, but like Sonia Citrone belongs in this league. She's going to be one of the best players in it. I don't think there should be much of a question of that. She looks so comfortable. She plays so well. The points and the rebounds I love. The threes, we're still getting really good number on the threes. And what I like about her in the threes, the attempts are going up, 7 each in the last 2 games. And other than the couple of the blowout games, she's usually at about 4 to 5, right? On the season, if you look at her 3-point attempts, she's at 4. But like I said, she's up that to 7. And part of that is going to be that they have an in-out game with Shakira Austin now, a lot more collapsing down on player like Shakira Austin, because you have to take her into account. That does leave her open for a bit. She's scoring 11% of her points off corner threes over here, you can see, and that is where the Lynx are pretty weak more often than not, right? If you are going to score against them, it is off the spot up a little bit more than like on-ball pull-ups. Really, really good pressure defense. They do trap a bit here and there for the Lynx. So a player like Sonia Citrone, who's smart, can get into the corner and get open spot-ups. Love that for her. And I know we all want to just go in on Shakira Austin props, and I'm not telling you not to, but she's much better at scoring a lot. They do give her some plays down low and look for her off of that post up. As you can see, that's going to be the number 1 play for her. That is going to be a little bit tougher against a team that's going to double down low. Alana Smith, also a really good defender down there. Again, and we'll be having that Austin matchup. Really good defender, a little bit undersized for Shakira Austin, who's much bigger. But either way, I'd be going for the points for Shakira, not the boards necessarily. This Lynx team does a good job of limiting rebounds overall, and to the center position down low. They're going to be really, really good limiting that as well. So not as much of an edge on the rebounds. Points, not much of an edge either, to be honest. But especially if Napheesa doesn't play, one more defender down low that's not going to be out there for the Lynx. Not too upset if you want to take the points for Shakira Austin. Sparks and the Sky. A couple things here for the Sparks. Cameron Brink could have played in this game, but she's already been ruled out. She might be coming back in the next one, though. Keep an eye on that. And then Odyssey Sims, the vet, still out. Personal reasons, like the 4th game in a row. So we're going to see some backups once again for the Sparks in a matchup that should be a get-right game here for Kelsey Plum. She had a decent game scoring and an attempted comeback against the Lynx recently. We'll take a look at her props here, but this is a very good matchup and spot for her based on the fact that she's got some sort of getting back up to the mean, if you understand what I mean. Like, she's been playing under her pay grade, under her averages. That would mean she's probably likely to get back up to those averages in a good matchup here right now. So this is 2 of the bottom 4 defenses in the league for a reason. The Sparks and the Sky in the last 5 games especially have been 2 of the worst. Really, really, really bad overall. And I think we're going to have some opportunity for some overs for a couple players here. Both teams really, really bad up top, right? A little bit better down low, I'll say. If you look at the way that they're basically the two worst teams limiting above the break shots, two of the worst three-point defenses in the league. That's why I say it's such a good spot for Kelsey Plum, and why it's a good spot, right? There's been plenty of games this season where her three-point prop is at 3.5. You have to take it at a really, really high number. 4 threes is a ton, right? Especially in the W, even in the NBA, it's a ton of threes. So if you're looking at 2.5 for her, you're getting this in a good buy low spot because it's been way higher, right? So today's price, not yesterday's price, and it's a lot better today than it was yesterday. So this is where you buy that spot and you go over on the 2.5 threes. I think I'm also going to have a ladder for her on the 4+ threes. That should get you about plus 200, maybe a little better than 2-1 on your money for her to keep going over. She had 6 of them things on 10 attempts against this team in May right here on the 25th. So I do think Plum, good buyback spot for her. That's the only bet I really like in this one because where these teams want to score in that, like Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, it's not as good of a spot for those players, or even like Azura Stevens, Hamby, and Jackson. When you think of Cardoso and Angel Reese being the strength of this team, and then all three of these forwards, Hamby, Jackson, Stevens, and Stevens is a center. I mean, she's like 6'6". All three of those players out there really giving trouble to forwards and centers. So you want to pick some guards more so, I would guess, in this game. That's why pretty much everybody's just stay away from me. I don't really want to bet on Ariel Atkins, to be honest. And I think Kelsey Plum is going to be in such a good spot to get a game, probably get a couple units down in total on her bets tonight. Last game of the night's going to be fun, man. The Fever and the Storm in Seattle. Storm coming off a really nice win. Hobbled Liberty squad. Let's be fair to the Liberty. They didn't have Sabrina or Jonquel Jones, but still a nice win for Seattle Storm, who are really incorporating players like Gabby Williams nicely. So we're going to have Clark, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and then Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, Hull, and Gabby. That'll probably be the matchup, I would imagine, although Gabby might be on Mitchell or Clark, to be honest, because of her athleticism, her 5'11" span, a nice wingspan. So, and then when we look at Ezzy McBeggar, probably looking at the Natasha Howard matchup, which puts Agumake Nneka is going to be on Aaliyah Boston, who came to life and has been coming to life. Let's look at these player props right now, because I got something for most of these players. Let's just go right down the list here. Skylar Diggins-Smith. I'm really liking the threes, man. I'm going right to it. I haven't been playing it. I've been talking about it, and I haven't been playing it because I'm an idiot. But really, if you look at the attempts for her, there's a nice little pattern forming here where Gabby Williams is playing a lot more on ball these days, getting a lot of assists, a lot of looks, potential assists. And Skylar Diggins still been getting the dimes, like 6 assists per game, essentially, over the course of the last 6 games. Nothing to sneeze at. She's at 6 on the season, and Gabby's been playing for most of the season. But look at Gabby's assists over the course of these last 5 or 6 games. Big time increases, right? The passes are going up. The on-ball stuff for Gabby is going up big time. So that has put Skylar Diggins a little bit more off ball, which is why these threes and these points have been so good in the past 5 or 6 games, right? If you look at the last 6 for her, we're talking about over in all of them, 2.8 per game. The 3-point attempts have gone up to 5.7 per game, where they've been at 3 for most of the season other than that. So that shows you she's getting more looks from 3 because she's off ball a little bit more, and she's getting the looks from players like Gabby, who are getting a ton more assists. So still getting even money, and she's a 40% 3-point shooter on the season, a little bit better. So she needs to go 2 for 5 to get her threes, and she's averaging more than 5 per game. That's what threes are for me, man. They're just a simple math. If this player is capable of hitting 40% and she needs 5 attempts to hit that 40%, and we think she's still good for those types of looks because of the way this team's playing, then we have a little bit of an edge over the books on that one. So that would be one look that I love in this one, is Skylar Diggins on the threes. And then you know what it is with Gabby, but I don't know if we're going to get this yet. You still have to take it at 23.5. Since I've been betting this over 21.5 PRA for Gabby, basically since the Aces game, might have even been the Lynx game, right? But it's been every single game. When Gabby was healthy, finally, this was the first game where I was like, okay, she's in line for big minutes. Boom. Ever since that game, which is basically the last 10 games, 25.7 PRA. The minutes are up to 34 per game, and she's played under 30 just once, basically, because they won by 31, right? So a couple of these unders are because she didn't get the minutes because there was big blowouts, what have you. So this is still a good number, up to about 24.5. That's what I've been saying since we started taking 21.5. I was like, I got Gabby in 32 minutes at 24 PRA per game. And she's playing closer to 35, 36 minutes per game, not 32. So yeah, I still love the over here for Gabby Williams. And on the other side, Caitlin Clark is probably going to be a stay away. I would not be going under, even though there's conflicting data here for CC, which is if you look at her on the points, right, and you look at defensive rank versus position, this is the number 1 team limiting guard points for Seattle. Really good defense up top. We mentioned SDS, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and then also Gabby, even Erica Wheeler, good defenders up top, and they definitely make a point of getting out there. also have some versatility there with players like Nneka who have shown that. So they're going to be really good up top. But the other thing is they are not good at limiting the pick and roll. And that's CeCe's play. Every play pretty much for the Fever is pick and roll for CeCe. That's option number one coming down every time, especially with her and Aaliyah Boston, who have an awesome chemistry. So I wouldn't be going under. If anything, I'd probably be going over for her on the points more than anything. I do think she'll look to score a bunch. The assists not going to be easy to come by. This team's 5th best limiting assists, 2nd best limiting guard assists. So again, tough matchup overall, but if you think Caitlin Clark sort of supersedes any kind of matchup data, then I'd be going over for her, especially because it's a big spot against a good team. I imagine she'll want to show out. Last player here, we're still getting value, I got to admit, on points and rebounds for Aaliyah Boston, especially because the key here for me on the boards and the points is going to be that when she's playing with Caitlin Clark, boom, 10.6 boards per game, 10 plus in 6 of 8 over the 8.5 number, which is plus money in almost every game as well, right? 7 of 8 that she's going over 8.5 boards. The points up as well, 17 per game with CeCe versus like, what is it without CeCe? Let me just get that exact number. It's like 12 without Caitlin Clark. 11 per game without Caitlin Clark. All but one game she went under without Caitlin Clark. Most of these games with her, she's going over. Points still not going to be easy to come by. This is still a good team down low outside of this little push shot here. We know Aaliyah Boston is going to be able to score from both there and obviously down in the paint. So pretty good paint defense depending on where you're scoring from in the paint. So Aaliyah Boston, I think I prefer the rebounds more than the points is the bottom line here. This is just an insanely good hit rate. And the minutes go up a bit for her too when she's playing with CeCe, which obviously helps for the boards. So I'd be looking at her boards over points in this game once again, maybe a little double, that type of thing. But those are the only 2 players I'd probably be looking at for this Fever squad. All right, y'all, appreciate the time. That is all the time I have for you. Make sure that you are subscribed to that channel. Don't miss any of the stuff we're bringing here, including the live show, which I'm trying to come back with pretty much on the daily for the W. Got a nice 4-game slate here on Tuesday, so got to go live for that. Also still have that season pass available for the WNBA in the VIP Discord. If you don't want to miss any of the picks that we're making all summer long, also got the VIP baseball campers in there crushing it. So hope to see you guys in there. And until I do, happy betting.